Hello everyone, welcome back to another Top 10 Commander video. As always, if you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. I appreciate all of your support. Today we're going to talk about my picks for the top 10 best 2-card infinite combos in the Commander format. Now this is very specific and I have to clarify exactly what I mean by 2-card infinites. An infinite doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to win, it just means that you have a 2-card combo that gives you infinite of something, some kind of resource at the very least. If it's not infinite damage or infinite life loss, it can still be an infinite that gives you infinite mana, or just infinite death triggers or infinite ETBs. So to start it off here with number 10, we have the Felidar Guardian and Saheeli Rai combo. If you want an easier way to combo with Felidar Guardian, you can still get infinite ETBs with a Minato, the Fate Shifter. It's a lot easier to play it in that deck if you want to, but the Saheeli Rai combo does give you infinite tokens with haste. So you'll be able to deal a bunch of damage with your tokens, and that was a big deal all the way back in Standard, and it's still powerful in Commander. And then number 9 is a pretty cool 2-card enchantment combo, Exquisite Blood and Sanguine Bond. Now how I've pretty much set up this list, I'll have the first card, which is kind of the anchor of the strategy. That's kind of the main reason why the combo is possible, and then you have the other card, which may or may not be as important. In this case, Exquisite Blood is the anchor card. It's that constant variable. There are a ton of cards that do similar things to Sanguine Bond, so you can literally substitute it with any of those. But that right there is infinite life loss, infinite life gain, pretty much up until the point where you don't have any opponents. So you can just keep going. Pretty powerful, like the Felidar combos with Saheeli Rai. It's not super common in the Commander format, but it's a pretty cool combo that I'm sure a lot of people are aware of. And then number 8, we have yet another one that is around the same age as a combo. The Kiki-Jiki, Mirror Breaker, and Zealous Conscripts combo. Kiki-Jiki is the big part of the combo, and Zealous Conscripts could be a bunch of other creatures. It could be Deceiver Exarch. Doesn't really seem to matter that much. I chose Zealous Conscripts because you don't really have to go outside of red to get this combo. It's not a combo that I look to include in every single deck, but yeah, it's still a pretty good one. Number 7 is Pili-Pala and Grand Architect. Now this is pretty much just an equal parts combo. Now Pili-Pala might be slightly easier to combo with than Grand Architect, but it really just seems like these two cards are put into any deck to combo with each other and each other only. That being said, artifact decks dominate the infinite combos. This is one of the better artifact infinites in the game because it results in you getting infinite colored mana. So pretty sweet. And again, infinites don't have to result in you just winning the game, but usually when you get infinite mana as a resource, you probably will. And then number 6, we have Metalworker and Staff of Domination. Staff of Domination is the best card that you can combo with if you're using Metalworker because it's a mana sink, which means that once you get your infinite mana, constantly tapping and untapping your Metalworker, and also being able to untap your Staff of Domination. Granted, you do need some artifacts in your hand to make this easier, but it's still a good infinite. Once you get that infinite mana, you just dump it into the other abilities, you get card draw, and yeah, in a deck, if you have infinite mana, pretty much infinite card draw, you should probably win, even more so than any other combo where you're just getting infinite mana. Pretty ridiculous. And then number 5 is Isochron Scepter and Dramatic Reversal. Did you love Paradox Engine? Because that's kind of what we have here with Isochron Scepter and Dramatic Reversal. The goal is pretty simple. Get out plenty of artifacts that tap for mana, or even creatures that tap for mana. You get to play Dramatic Reversal over and over again, untapping your Isochron Scepter over and over again as well, making it pretty easy to just go off and win. Now, you probably noticed by now, I'm not ranking this on what combos I think are a sure thing. Is getting infinite mana necessarily going to win you the game every time? Of course not, but it's also about getting these consistently. And if you can play a 2-card infinite combo in just about any blue deck, where you have plenty of tutors for instants and sorceries, where you have plenty of tutors for artifacts, the combo is just going to be easier to pull off than most. And then number 4, we have a classic combo for Commander. Deadeye Navigator and Peregrine Drake. Pretty much if a creature enters the battlefield and untaps more than 2 lands, you're going to get infinite mana. That Soul Bond ability is just ridiculous because you're giving it to any creature with a good ETB. So for 2 mana, they can just blink themselves. Obviously, Peregrine Drake isn't the only creature that does this. There's Great Whale, there's Palinchron, and it's pretty much a guarantee that you're going to be able to go off with those if you get them. But for the sake of just getting to the combo as quickly as possible, you would imagine that getting to a 5-mana creature rather than a 7 would be easier. But it's another infinite mana combo. This one I think is even deadlier than some of the other ones because it means once you get infinite mana, you can then soul bond other creatures with ETBs and just get infinite ETBs out of anything else you want, which is pretty insane. So number 3, we have Food Chain and Squee the Immortal. Now again, of course, it could be Eternal Scourge, it could be Mist Hollow Griffin, it could be another creature that does this in the future. As long as you're able to play it from exile again for the same amount of mana, you get infinite mana because Food Chain gives you 1 more than that creature's cost. This is one of the biggest combo cards in competitive EDH. It sees play with a ton of commanders, even newer ones, General Tazri to Niv-Mizzet Reborn, to even the first Sliver. There are just a ton of commander options that can abuse the heck out of a Food Chain, and it usually has something with being able to play your commander over and over again, or just getting infinite ETBs in general. Pretty powerful, but you know it has to be if it's in so many competitive EDH decks. And then number 2, we have an artifact combo, surprise surprise. We have Basalt Monolith and Rings of Brighthearth. Now, Basalt Monolith is probably one of the easiest cards to combo with in the Commander format. Rings of Brighthearth, believe it or not, is not the strongest card in this combo. You have so many things that interact with Basalt Monolith in a way where if you take advantage of the activation, you can get, of course, infinite mana, but you also get infinite untaps. You have Mesmeric Orb, of course. But the Rings of Brighthearth combo is probably the most powerful because you get infinite mana. You of course cannot copy mana abilities because mana abilities don't use the stack, so you of course copy the untap ability. So with that on the stack, you then tap for more mana. This will result in you getting infinite. So before I go on to number 1, let's talk about some honorable mentions. We have a cool combo here, it's relatively new. We have Freed from the Real and Zixara the Exemplary. So this will get you infinite mana to use on whatever you want, probably a big X-costed spell. We also have a cool combo here, I just didn't feel like it was infinite. It was kind of in that gray area. We have Niv-Mizzet, Parun, and Curiosity, resulting in pretty much however many people you want to ping, and a bunch of card draw, but it was kind of in that weird area where it's not quite infinite, but it can definitely help you finish off the game. And then number 1, we have Painter's Servant and Grindstone. You have probably the easiest to get to 2-card combo because it's both artifacts. Yeah, they're not super flexible, so it's pretty obvious what you're going to do when your opponents see you play them. That being said, it's an infinite that will result in you milling out all of your opponents because Painter's Servant can make any card whatever color you want. Grindstone will then mill. Seeing that those milled cards are all the same color, you can just repeat that process over and over again. It's a deadly mill, and it results in you winning. So what's not to like about that? Painter's Servant was taken off the ban list not so long ago, and I guess the reason why was because these 2 cards aren't super useful outside of the combo, and maybe people needed a way to win. Maybe they wanted to make the competitive EDH arena more interesting. Who knows? But anyway, hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know some of your favorite 2-card infinite combos. There's a ton of cards that combo, there's a ton of cards that go infinite, but there are only so many 2-card infinites. Anyway, Void here signing off, see you all next time.